All right. Hey everyone, Matt from soundrolling.com. I wanted to obviously start doing more live stuff. I'm kind of feeling like a live thing every day. It's going to be a random time. I'm obviously filming most days, but hopefully providing some more value to individual levels, and then hopefully I can flesh out that content a little bit more, which is good. So thought I'd pick a few themes because obviously it takes a while for people to get the notification, and sometimes people don't have any questions at all. So I guess today I think the key thing I want to kind of touch on is just attitude, and how attitude can just get you so much work. Just your set demeanor in general. I find that if you're very positive, obviously very helpful. And knowing the difference, well, it just comes with experience of knowing the difference of like how far is like just being nice, and then how far is like right now it's probably like enough, especially with like really really long days, and things of that nature. So maybe giving it a break if it's like we only have 45 minutes lunch instead of an hour, but then if it's going past like crazy amount of time. So yeah, I find it's really the kind of the skills like that you can't really teach, but it's important to always kind of, if you keep it top of mind, it's always really good. And I think if you're actively, even just proactive in your speciality, I know that I've kind of made a big impact in terms of just doing like the YouTube channel and the content stuff. Kind of, it's again, it's going to be a thing that I think still pays off in like 10 years. And so at the moment, it's like, I think quite good to still document because I'm basically nobody, but making like having an app and all this, trying to stay ahead of the curve, I think is going to be really important. And then yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think everyone's going to be getting there, but even especially in the sound game and the world in general, but obviously things are quite slow to adopt sometimes. And ironically, in a creative industry where communication is the medium that we're working in, things like Instagram, things like whatever, take quite a long time to adopt in a way, especially from like I guess I'm talking from like a company point of view. Like if I was a manufacturer these days, or if I was a even just a retailer and could like afford to get into the game, I think like you can absolutely just crush it beyond belief with the amount of tools that are available. And I kind of feel that the industry right now is kind of sitting at a kind of, not necessarily like a bare minimum, but they're sitting at a point that is just comfortable with the rest of the peers. And it's kind of like if someone was to break out, I think everyone would have to up their game. And right now they kind of have it not necessarily locked down, but it's kind of, you go to the exhibitions, you obviously develop the products, and you can only obviously do so many things at once. But I think it's just kind of almost like a shame that more people aren't documenting like what they're doing and how the industry is going forward, because they don't feel that they're good enough and blah blah blah. And this, I think, also feeds into just that, like it almost would then solve the issue of like rates and people that are starting out not feeling that they're worth it, or feeling that they have to go out on their own and just become a sound recordist out kind of outside of the system, as it were, and then slot themselves back in when they feel that it's right. Um, Obviously, there's quite a lot of different kind of clubs and unions that you can join, and I kind of feel that it's tricky for them to do more as well, because again they're kind of stuck in a really like old, almost like, yeah, just an older culture. I mean, obviously the people with the most experience are like, yeah, like just old, and so it's trying to balance like how much you're taking forward, and then how much you're uh yeah, how much you're like willing to go fast, and how much you're willing to be kind of patient about stuff. Alejandro, welcome, my friend. And yeah, the Instagram TV channel is, I think it's going to be pretty good. I'm going to try and I've got a couple of old content, but like let me know what you think, because I'm trying to like almost DJ the old content into newer, fresher content, because not a lot of people have a lot of time to watch 600 sound videos. So just trying to break that down and make that maybe a bit easier. So if you're bored, and I need to get back into the podcasting, and there's like so much, but so Alejandro, I have a question for you. How do you go about contract cancellation fees, seriously considering them, as in like doing a deal memo and saying that if it's cancelled and blah blah blah. Some jobs say I have kind of put it out. I don't think I've ever sent anyone anything to sign. But it's always just been a case of if I know that the job is, yeah, I don't know how I play that. To be honest, recently I've been getting like lots of stuff like just super last minute, so the kind of cancellation fee isn't really an issue. But definitely deal with it if it's definitely a bigger, longer job. I would say that there definitely should be a cancellation fee. Maybe one day you can miss it, and then I would base it on if you have a lot of regular people that are coming to you, but then they start canceling like I think like twice is a lot, because obviously these shoots should be set up properly, and maybe it's client side, maybe it's this, that, and the other, not necessarily the actual production company. Um, but yeah, I would say that like, are you getting a lot of cancellations? Like, try and give me a bit more context in terms of like, have you just been like burnt by the same people a lot of times? Um, yeah, I would just basically say that if you're going into a bigger, longer job and it's like nearly a week or that kind of thing, I would try and like say that there will be a cancellation fee, because obviously this is a lot of time, and generally shooting a lot of creative content, it's a lot of like one day here, one day there. But then with the features, they're a bit tricky because they slide a little bit. They're not cancelled, so it is a tricky one to play. So yeah, Saturday you got cancelled. So it's just how long it is. I would say that generally, what it seems to be is that you get it if it's like 24 hours before. A lot of people are also penciling for a long time as well. And so what I've been treating that with is just saying yes to everyone, but then saying that like this person is I'm now also penciled with other people. So yeah. So hopefully that kind of helps. I think I did a video on that as well, so you can search that on YouTube if you search cancellation fee and then sound rolling. That should come up as the top result. Diego from Colombia, hello. Congratulations, you're doing really well in the World Cup, by the way, which is good. And you wanted to ask me, what does it take for you to be a good second assistant? Do you usually have a second assistant? For me, it is rare to have a second assistant. I think it comes down to budget. There's quite a lot of stuff that I do that is, I've definitely had stuff with second assistants, but it's usually been because there's been like playback that's needed and that kind of stuff, like a specific role that would dilute my role like a lot. So yeah, so I've worked with like playback people quite a lot to do trailers for like musicals, for instance. So either I've been like head of the playback and they've been running around doing other stuff like just getting the in-ear monitors, changing batteries, that kind of thing. I think it comes a lot down to a second assistant. So that's generally like utility sound. So what I'd say is like definitely check out the sound chat I did with forget the name, but he was a second utility on 10,000 BC, which is a pretty big feature film. He's down in South Africa. I would say it's definitely, in terms of the people that I've spoken to at the higher end, that can definitely afford it. Because so my point was that in the medium budget area, I would basically like to spend. I wouldn't like to spend less money and get two people. I'd like to spend more money on one boom operator that is essentially better or is going to be more efficient. Although it may be more efficient with two people, generally, if you're working for a lot less money, it's either because it's like a super favor or you have no experience. And so that takes a bit of a learning curve. And in low budget, sometimes that's fine, but often in the case, it's low budget, but they're trying to make it look like $1 billion. So yeah, generally it's trying to get a really good boom operator. But I would say, speaking for the people like Simon Hayes, things like that, wiring people, wiring cables, and just knowing how to fix cables seems to be a massive thing. even knowing how to wire people, because often what will happen is the sound mixer will be on set, the the boom operator is kind of running the floor in terms of like communicating with the sound mixer what's going to be happening, what's going to be going on, and then you would be in charge in terms of being a third man to either wire up people and also to maybe second boom. So basically, I would take it as it's a very demanding role as well. To kind of it's kind of sad that it just gets called like second assistant, almost like you're like the second person that if every other assistant kind of fucks up, then it's onto you. But yeah, I would say practice your skills in wiring people is going to be massive, and also just generally fixing wires and cables and just being able to handle electronics is just going to put you right at the top. And then obviously, if you can practice booming as well, that's going to be like really important as well. Alejandro, am I going to review the Deity S Mic 2? I am when it comes out. I've been speaking to them and trying to arrange that. So they've been pretty quiet recently. Again, they've got so much on their plate in terms of setting up a new microphone company. It's no small feat. So yeah, looking back, it's getting into the review game as well. Actually, all my kit is at the hotel, shooting with the US crew, and we're always based there in the morning. So instead of traveling on the tube on the underground system, it's a lot easier to just leave my kit there. But there's a in-ear field monitor that I've been testing out and obviously and giving to the producer over there as well. So I need to do a review on that. Already did little segments on like falling back in love with the timecode buddy system and the ultra sync system. So that's going really well actually. You can just see why people use it a lot. I don't use the app though that much for it. It's just generally manually set it to the internal. I'm probably not using it to its fullest potential, but it's nice to have it there, and it's nice to have this wireless broadcast feature as well. I'm not sure if Tentacle Sync have fixed their app yet, but there was I was having issues with that. You couldn't like simultaneously get them all to sync together and stuff. So it's becoming a bit of a faff, really. But yeah. So if anyone else has any questions, get in those comments, as well as what you would like to see on different platforms. Like obviously, I need to try and get the sound chats in a kind of better way on a podcast, I guess. And then also, well, like what you would watch on Instagram as opposed to, for instance, this long form content. YouTube seems to be better, maybe. I'm not sure. I need to figure it all out. There's basically like 7 billion ways of saying the same thing, but trying to hit all those principles home in a relevant way is it's going to be the trick. But it's very, very exciting. So there is a lot going on. I also need to even update the app. There's quite a few things that people have been saying in terms of some videos not working properly, and just there's just a million things to keep on top of at the moment. And also started kind of properly getting involved with the side business of my wife's as well. So then using lots of my marketing interest to that as well. But yeah, we're still live. I'll just keep hanging out, I guess, for a bit. So I don't know, at least say hi in the comments or something, and we can talk shop, talk about stuff. I need to arrange more sound chats as well. If any of you guys would like to just hang out one-on-one with me, yeah, that'd be great. Simon Nordberg, hello, sir. Have you tried the Sennheiser G4 yet? I have not tried it, but again, I hear lots of good things, wider frequency bands, things like that. It's it's definitely like a solid upgrade. Whether it'll completely wipe out the G3, I doubt it. And the price point, again, not sure. Maybe people are, I think it's just a natural progression for them, because it's not like they don't have another higher series of microphones, so they kind of know what they're going for. Alejandro knows though, because he has G4s. So you're probably better off sharing yours, Alejandro. We need to get you on a sound chat, or I've already done it. I definitely interviewed one Alejandro. I get confused. It was so long ago, like 2 years ago or something. Or maybe we could have like a mass Google Hangout and everyone can just join, but maybe it'd be like loads of spam. I don't know. Participants. Here we go. Oh yeah, it's just random people. Yeah, but he really likes them. So, any other questions? I'm still holding off on the wireless game in terms of buying more. I'm going to see where Electrosonics go this year. Not too sure. Maybe go to Wizzy. Maybe go to Audio Limited. See if there's more integration. It just kind of feels that at the top end of the wireless game, it's just really tricky to. It's just this fractions and fractions of like improvement for like lots and lots of money. So. But that's the problem when you're at the forefront of the research and things like that, I guess. So yeah, you got the MKE2 Gold mic. It's pretty fancy. ME2, yeah, definitely. I would. What I did when I had G3s is I then put COS 11s on. I actually buy some more COS 11s. Although again, still it's tough. What do you guys think between like DPA Slims and COS 11s? Kind of so used to both. Still need to do more testing actually with the mini mounts. They've been working out all right in the field. Not noticing a massive difference. Sometimes they're actually harder to hide, just because they're more round, and weirdly, that seems to stick out more, even though they're a lower profile than the RM11s. I think it's just the RM11 being wider kind of smooths over any obvious kind of bumps. So that's been interesting. And yeah, I think that is it. So unless I can help anyone else out, and I always forget that there's like a 1 minute delay or whatever. But yeah, I will hold on until it says 18, 18:20, and then maybe we should wrap this up. Again, I need to then figure out how to DJ this content down. So what I might do is either what would you guys? This is what I think is going to be key. I really like the live video format because I can just basically answer your questions and yeah, get more. Uh, but yeah, then how? Yeah, is it better to like have individual videos? I'm not sure. Um, Siddharth, how's it going? Do I prefer going wired with my boom or wireless? Have you noticed any audible differences in going wireless from wired? I've only had a few. I don't have a direct, like dedicated wireless for my boom. So generally, I'm a cable guy, like 99% of the time. I have had very limited experience with the Electrosonics. I think it's the HH1, I want to say. Um, HH1, yeah. So the plug-on, and I didn't notice that much difference. I think you would in certain scenarios. I kind of feel like if it's a lot quieter or a lot louder, but in terms of just how clean the signal is, I think it should be pretty clean. And I had a few tests with the WYSICOM as well, and that's oh god, sorry, it's getting late. Yeah, to do pretty well. So I haven't noticed anything myself, but again, I don't extensively do it. I think it's always just that thing of you have more bandwidth like going down, and but then you're obviously wireless. So I think it's got to the point where it's pretty even. Again, you just have to take into consideration maybe the battery life or like how long you're running for. But I would, for instance, be super comfortable with one with internal recording, like the Zaxcom or the Audio LTD, because then I just want to know that I'm not going to like lose the signal. So I think that's always just a natural thing that freaks everyone out, and especially because it's the boom. So yeah, so I would say wired if it's good, but if it's more practical, then I would say, yeah, go wireless. Like use the tool as it is, basically. But if you can run lots of cable, that's good as well. You just know then you're secure that you're hardwired in, and it's always nice to have that kind of reassurance, I guess, as well as obviously the bandwidth improvements and things like that. Eesh. Okay, Matt, I have another question. I'm considering getting the point source 8 lav. You done?
Bedtime.
Oh, very close to bedtime. So yeah, the SourcePoint 8 lavalier mics. I haven't used those. The only lav mics that I've used are the Sound Q+As, various iterations of the DPAs, and the MK2 and that kind of thing. So I haven't used the SourcePoint ones again, or the point source. I've heard really good things, but again, I need to maybe do a whole comparison myself. So yeah. So I think it's time to wrap this up. I've got to be up in like 7 hours or something. So, and then back at it. And then I'm actually in Paris. So actually, if any of you are in Paris or France on Wednesday, then yeah, we should like catch up. Also, since you said you mostly do wired, do you usually buy pre-made XLR cables or do you solder them yourself? And how much length do you need? I'd say you need a decent amount. Like, how long is that?
That 20 centimeters.
So you need probably at least like 30 centimeters. Ideally, if you get it coiled, that'd probably save you as well. No, I didn't. I buy those separately. I don't solder them. The only ones I only solder like basic XLR cables, but I haven't yeah soldered one for that yet because I don't actually have the wireless plug on. So yeah. So yes, right. I am going to wrap this up. I know there's a bit of a delay, so sorry if you do ask any questions. I will respond to you on the old Instagram and all that kind of good stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments anyway. And yeah, until tomorrow, I will chat to you soon. So see you later.